Welcome back, folks. It's your pal Orange Hat here to bring you another video. So, the Hollywood Reporter used to be a site that used to report on Hollywood, what's going on in movies and stuff, but they have since Donald Trump being elected has since branched into the political, and they have only shown their bias since then. But what they have done here today, folks, is that they have given away the plot. They have betrayed all of the mainstream media and all of those in the mainstream media by saying the quiet part out loud. So I'm going to go through this article and give you guys some context in which they are going to lie about and whatnot. And I am going to get to the heart of the matter when I reach the point in the article that I want to talk about. So without further ado, who will stand up to Trump's broligarchs? As Elon Musk and his billionaire brethren take power in Trump's second term, they have not taken power. All they have simply done was no longer show bias and censorship. The lack of legal guardrails, you can't sue somebody for exercising freedom of speech. And the fading power of big media, they did that to themselves, is becoming an existential crisis. Again, they did it to themselves. But that's the thing about life in general, folks. It is commonly known that once something is fading out of irrelevancy, it will try to do its damnedest to stay relevant. And unfortunately, the mainstream and big media have turned on the will of the people and have turned on the people. The people are no longer watching it all. They're no longer caring about it all. Because they have seen through the 8 years of lies, manipulations, and straight up propaganda for administrations that they agree with. That is what they are doing. The right and the left. Fox, CBS, MSNBC, all of them, CNN, they are all guilty of this. But getting into it, Elon Musk's raised arm salute, which everybody was calling a Yahtzee salute, but switched the Y to an N, which is absolute horseshit, by the way, to Donald Trump, wasn't a Donald Trump, he was giving his heart out to the people. That's what he was doing. Drew more attention, but for those concerned about media freedom, there is still media freedom. It's called the First Amendment. Freedom of speech, petition, religion, assembly, and press. Another image of the inauguration day seemed just as chilling. Why? Because all of the CEOs of big tech were there. Which is what is shown or pointed out in here. Also showing their support, stated or seated further back, yada yada. Big tech billionaires have a front row seat to or at Trump's inauguration. They have even better seats than Trump's own cabinet picks. That says it all. Noted Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Oh, Pocahontas. Got it. Or Fakeahontas. Faux-Kahontas. F-A-U-X, by the way, folks. Faux. On Musk's X. And yet she was allowed to say what she wanted. And it was seen by the media. She's not censored. Suggesting we were watching what Joe Biden in his Oval Office speech on January 15th and warned of an oligarchy of the big tech industrial complex. Those extreme wealth, power, and influence threaten our entire democracy. Well, fact check for Elizabeth Warren. We are not a democracy. We are, in the United States, we are a constitutional republic. You see, the founding fathers did not want a democracy because they were inherently evil and without proper law. In a democracy, if 51% of the people say that they want your land, they want your child, they want you, they get it. In a constitutional republic, the law prevents such a thing from ever happening, and you are given freedoms to defend yourself. So yeah, there's a big difference there, folks. Talk of a tech oligarchy running the entire U.S. economy may be overblown, even if it may not feel that way at the moment. The combined economic might of Bezos, Zuckerberg, Musk empires account for less than 2% of total American GDP, per tally from the U.S. Economist. Add an Apple in the alphabet, and it rises to 3.1. Hardly a controlling share. When it comes to big media's battle with tech for influence, however, influence. And there's the rub, folks. It's hard to be so sanguine. In the 8 years since Trump first swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, which he has, the strength of and reach of legacy outlets has fallen while power of platforms has surged in comparison. That's because they kept on lying. Mika Brzezinski, MSNBC, back in 2018. It's not Donald Trump's job to influence the people. It's our job. Literally saying that they're no longer trying to inform you, they're trying to indoctrinate and influence you to believe what they believe, which at the time, Orange Man bad. I believe there was a report a couple years back. I've tried searching for it. Unfortunately, it has gone down the memory hole of the media, but I do remember reading about it. That once Trump took office, big media, CNN and them, MSNBC and all them, were given a direct memo from the top. You are not to cover Trump's presidency in a positive light. That was proof that the media had begun issuing complete bias and were not fair at all. When it comes to big media's battle for tech for influence, however, it's hard to be so sanguine in the last 8 years. The strength and reach platforms by comparison. In the US and in Europe too, we have allowed an acute concentration of control over the media infrastructure to evolve. Media hasn't been free for a while, apparently, because they've been trying to control the narrative. Says Johnny Ryan, director of Enforce, a civil liberties group based in Ireland. Why is a person in Ireland controlling the U.S. media? Because of that error, we have allowed the emergence of oligarchs an acute concentration of control over the media infrastructure to evolve. Yeah. This is what happens when you try to control the narrative. It backfires on you. Because of that error, we have allowed the emergence of oligarchs who have an enormous influence in how we all view the world. Elon Musk literally made Twitter 50-50 information. He took down all of the shadow banning of all the media and information that was being disseminated. It is clear as day, folks. And it was also revealed by Mark Zuckerberg that the Biden administration was trying to force social media to only report on what they wanted to have reported, and to literally discredit and abuse anyone who went against the narrative. This is all stuff that we have lived through and seen the proof of. So yeah, they're giving away the plot here. Because of that error, we have been emergence of oligarchs and view the world because they decide what our feed looks like. No, they don't. And they are now, it appears, servants of the incoming administration. No, they went to those, to Trump in Mar-a-Lago to make sure that they weren't going to be put in or judged for what they did. And Trump basically said, look, just allow free speech on your platforms. And that's all we want. Stop censoring people. Let them say what they will. That is what free speech is all about. And they allowed it. Free speech, folks, is not just the right to say whatever. It is the right to say whatever and not be held to account. However, or not be judged for it. Now, yes, you have a responsibility of your speech. That is what the freedoms come with, responsibility. So if I say all this person or this amount of people are bad, I'm allowed to say that. However, if I say I want to wipe out all of these people and I think they should be wiped out, or I'm going to wipe them out, that is where free speech is no longer in effect. You have declared intent to do harm, which is illegal, and therefore not protected by free speech. All big tech did was return to a constitutionally sound operation. Many of the same tech moguls crowded the rotunda, once vocal critics of Trump, are now keen to toe the MAGA line, hoping to shore up government contracts, benefit from a low tax, low regulation regime, and avoid being targeted by Trump for punishment. Over the course of a few days, Trump was kicked off of platforms during or after January 6th, 2021, when he was telling people to go home and not to attack the Capitol. They kicked him off for saying not to do what those idiots at the Capitol did. And I'm not talking about the peaceful protesters that just went on a tour. I'm talking about the people that were actually wrecking equipment and stuff in offices and whatnot. Yes, there were those people. I'm not going to deny that they didn't exist. However, they aren't right-wingers. Just to give you guys some heads up. Of course, in a few days, Zucker shelved Meta's once lauded fact-checking program, named prominent Republican Joe Chaplin Chief Global Affairs Officer, replacing liberal-leaning British ex-Politico Nick Clegg, promoted UFC boss and Trump whisperer Dana White to Meta's board, and scrapped DEI initiatives so despised by the conservative faithful. No, those DEI initiatives were illegal due to the Civil Rights Act of 1979. Yeah. You see, folks, when you are changing hiring practices based on the count or based on race and whatnot, yeah, that's illegal. We already went through that whole system back in the 1960s and 70s. The Civil Rights Act said you cannot discriminate based on the count or based on race, skin color, gender, sexual orientation. And yet, well, that's what they did in reverse. White people were not allowed to be hired because they were white. That's what the DEI initiatives did. But yeah, folks, they basically admitted that their entire thing was all about controlling the narrative. They wanted to keep you in the dark of the truth and tell you the lies that were convenient to them. I will leave a link to this article so you can read it in full, but I did want to cover that whole thing. It will be in the description of this video, so it will be under the under source, so look for it there. But yeah, folks, they wanted to control the narrative, and now that they're no longer trusted due to all the lies they have told, I mean, thinking back over the last few years, Nick Sandman sued the media because CNN got a hold of the full video of him standing before that AWOL Native American that was AWOL during Vietnam. But yeah, how that guy said, "Oh my God, it was such a horrible ordeal, them smirking at me." But yet it showed him going up to the kids and starting to do his chant in their faces. Yeah, the media had the full video, and yet they showed only enough to make the kids look like they were mocking the Native American. Yeah. That's why people stopped trusting them. Then the media started painting people like Kyle Rittenhouse, who defended his life with a firearm when his life was threatened grievously and dangerously. They were calling him a murderer. Well, even after he was found innocent of those charges. People were saying a lot of other stuff. George Stephanopoulos calling Trump a rapist when he was not found liable for that. This is why people no longer trust the media, folks. It is because they have done nothing but lie. They have done nothing but protect one side of the political aisle and try to stop people from pointing out the lies that they have spewed from their mouths. But anyway, I leave it up to you. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And I will catch you on the next one, folks. And always remember, stay humble.